Welcome to JJ the Wedding Planner Podcast, the podcast for all the lovebirds who are young or young at heart, the non-traditionalists who might like some traditions, los que hablan español e inglés, or maybe more like Spanglish, where the one rule is that we are exclusively inclusive. I'm JJ, and after almost 8 years in the wedding industry, serving couples of all backgrounds, I realized that there wasn't a central place where I can send them to hear from all the amazing POC professionals that I had met. So, aquí estamos para servirles. After each episode, you will walk away feeling empowered to take on the bits of planning that lead up to your big day, while keeping la tía lovingly off your back. Bienvenidos! Episode 6 is here. Can you even believe that we have made it this far? I'm so excited about today's subject and topic, and I want to make sure that you have gone and listened to the previous episode. Make sure you listen to episode 5 before this one, because for the next few episodes we are going to be going in a little bit of a sequence, and it's just easier if you take in this information in the right order. So if you haven't yet, go now. Pause. Trust me, this will be here. I'll be here when you get back. Go over there, listen to that one, take some notes with your partner, and then come back here. Today's episode is gonna continue on the theme and topic of money, finances, and savings. This is a little bit of a touchy subject because we're gonna be talking about family contributions. Should you have them? How to deal with them? How to ask for them? How to receive them? Lots to talk about. So get ready. Again, make sure you have your download from our Jumpstart Kit. Again, if you don't have it yet, tinyurl.com/Jumpstart Kit. We are going to be covering those questions individually. And today we're covering the third topic, the third question on that page on step 2. So let's get it. Let's do that. Get your notebook out and let's get started. Okay, so assuming that you have already had that initial conversation with your partner and that you listened to episode 5 and you did that work and had that difficult conversation, we're going to go through these 3 tips and talk a little bit more about family contribution. So tip number 1 is to be on the same page with your partner. Everyone feels different about this specific topic, about if they do or do not want family to be pitching in on the wedding day. Not necessarily with like roles and things they do on the day of, but money, right? We're still talking about money and finances. If you didn't cover this specific topic on the last conversation, this should be your next one. Number 1 question is, do we want family to be involved with, giving money or something into the wedding? And so, this may not be an option for some people. For some people, they may already just know that their family isn't really in a place where they can contribute financially, and that's okay. Then if this is not a thing that you're covering, that's okay. There are lots of ways that your family and friends can contribute to your day without it having to be financial. And we'll talk about that at another time. But this is specifically about money, okay? So have that conversation with your partner, because you just don't always completely know how they feel about receiving money from family members, whether it's their own family or your family. So just talk about it, see how you feel, just open up the conversation with, what do you think about our family pitching in, and they may say, my family can't pitch in. Okay, we move on. Or they may say, I don't want my family to pitch in. Okay, we move on. Everyone's going to be in a little bit of a different place. So just have the conversation and come to a decision together about what you're going to do. So if you both say, we might have family who want to contribute, but we're not sure yet, but let's at least ask. If you're both on the same page, then great. You don't want to be getting into fights about this. It's not worth hurting your relationship with your partner to have your family involved. There are some parents who save up money to pitch into for their kids' weddings or things like that. So if you already have that, then that's really great. That's really fantastic that your family is able to do that and, receive it if you want to. Or, if your partner doesn't feel comfortable with that, maybe you can ask your parents, hey, we would like to instead use that money for a down payment on a new car, or a house, or maybe that can go to your honeymoon, whatever it is, just make sure that you and your partner are on the same page and that you have this conversation, and that whatever it is that you decide to do and move forward with, that you're both agreed to it. Tip number two is to be ready for the conversation that you have with your family member or friend, right? Again, this could be a friend, maybe it's a boss or someone who wants to give some type of monetary gift. Make sure you're ready for the conversation. Having some kind of notes will be helpful. There might be questions they have, maybe you have questions of them, and having this conversation in a comfortable and neutral location is always important. I think anytime that we have any type of negotiation that involves money or business or contracts, things like that, you want to be in a neutral space. So maybe you go out to dinner with someone, or if you feel comfortable in their home or they feel comfortable in your home, or maybe right now, again, because we're living in this COVID time, maybe it's just a conversation on the phone, but do it in a way that just feels comfortable, that doesn't feel like you're imposing on them or that they're imposing on you. Just let it be a comfortable place. And then when you go into that conversation, again, we're still talking about getting ready for it, is go in with no expectations, right? So maybe you don't necessarily yet know if your parents are willing or able to pitch in, or family members. And so go in just being okay with them saying, no, we can't, or no, we're not able to right now, or whatever. Just go in with no expectations, so that way you don't feel disappointed and you don't have any hard feelings, right? Again, the most important part of this whole time is you want to care for your relationships. That goes from your relationship with your partner and also relationship with family members. So we just want to go in knowing if they're not able to contribute, or they don't want to for whatever reason, it's going to be okay. You're still going to have a beautiful day and everything will be fine. You'll get through this. You'll work through it. And tip number three is to be clear with the expectations if they agree to give or contribute. So you've had the conversation. They say, yeah, we would love to be a part of your wedding. We would love to be able to help out. Great. Okay. Don't leave it there. Make sure that you set some clear expectations. If there is any way that you're able to get this in writing, I would highly suggest so. I know that might feel really awkward of saying, how am I going to ask my parents to put it in writing that they're going to give me a specific amount? Whatever it is, just be clear about it. Put it in an email. I wouldn't say text, because text can get lost really easily, but an email format is probably the best way. After you have the conversation, just respond to them. You can email them if they do email, and just say, thank you so much for being willing to contribute, X number of dollars, or for willing to purchase, our cake, or pay for our DJ for the day, whatever it is. Just get it in some type of writing so that you both know and are clear with what you agreed to. Again, want to make sure if they are agreeing to a specific amount of money. If so, when that money is going to be given, or how. And then, or are they just going to cover a specific vendor or a specific rental or something, right? Are they going to say, here, I'm just going to give you, $5,000 and you use it for whatever you want. It's totally up to you. That's one thing. Please make sure you get that in writing. Or they might say, oh, I'll pay for your catering. You pick the location and I'll pay for it. Or maybe they say, oh, I love this caterer. I'll pay for this caterer if you go with them. It might feel at first like they are wanting to take over a little bit. And again, that's why I say from the absolute beginning, make sure that you're clear and that you have all of the expectations, that they are all the things that they're expecting from this and all the things you're expecting from this. Okay. If you feel good with them making specific decisions for you, then great. That's totally fine. That's not a problem. It doesn't mean that it's a bad thing if they want to make some choices, as long as you and your partner agree with that. So again, get it in writing. Make sure you're clear about what is expected. Are they going to just give you a lump sum of money? Are they going to give you a chunk now and then another chunk of money later on? How's that going to work out? And then you also really want to talk about, what do they expect? How involved do they expect to be? Are they saying, well, because I'm giving this money, I would like to be able to make some choices? That's up to you. Maybe you're okay with your parent or friend or family member having some opinions about your day, and maybe you're not. Again, please have this conversation with your partner before you talk to your friend or family member, because you want to know that your partner's on the same page. Maybe you both say, we want to just still have complete control of our day. We want to be able to choose everything for ourselves. There's nothing wrong with that. Just be very clear about that and find out what they expect. Do they expect to make some choices for you? And this is very, very important, do they expect to have a specific number of invitations that they get to give out to their friends or, family members that maybe you weren't planning on inviting, but they really want them invited? Talk about all of that from the beginning. I know it can feel so awkward and can feel like, oh my gosh, how am I going to ask my parent this or my grandparent this or my family member, but just please do it from the beginning, because this is not something you want to be dealing with the month before your wedding, and all of a sudden whoever contributed, wants to give out 5 additional invitations and you've reached your max, and then you get into a fight with them. We don't want that happening. So I know this is a big ask. I know it's a lot of big conversations between you and your partner, and then you two and your family members, but trust me, you want to do this now. Especially if, we all know our family is best, especially if you know that your family just likes to be a little bit extra controlling and, but you want their contribution. Just talk about it, please. Please, I'm literally begging now. Have these conversations, be clear, be on the same page with your partner, and then know what the expectations are if they decide to contribute. Just be open about it. So just to go over and summarize all of the 3 tips that we just gave. Number 1, be on the same page with your partner about asking, some family members or friends to contribute. Make sure that you both feel okay about this. And if you do, how much you're wanting to allow them to give or to be a part of planning this day. Number 2, make sure you're ready for the conversation. Have some notes if that's helpful. Maybe you actually have an idea of what you would want them to cover, either an amount or a specific item. Have some notes with you. Be ready for the conversation. Have it in a neutral place and go in with no expectations, just in case they're not able to give or participate in that way. Number 3, if they say yes, make sure to be clear with all expectations. What do you expect from them and what do they expect from you? And how involved do they expect to be in the planning process and or in getting invitations for maybe some of their friends? All of these 3 things you want to make sure that you take your time to work through. Again, we don't want to rush ahead, but we do want to make sure we're covering all of these topics in depth, because it can save you a lot of headaches if you just make sure to take care of some things now so that you're not having to, stress out about it later on at the end. All right, so take some notes. Again, if you have your PDF, your printable, do that. Make notes on there. Put them in that folder that we talked about. And this will just make such a big difference when talking about family contributions. Okay, friends, that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining us. We can be BFFs on Facebook or Insta at JJ the Wedding Planner. Or if you're actually looking for information on wedding planning or coordination services, you can head over to our website, jjtheweddingplanner.com. And please don't forget to leave us a review on today's episode. Let us know what you thought. Was this helpful? And the more 5-star reviews that we get, the better chance we have at reaching more people with this information. Thank you so much again, and we'll see you soon. Los quiero. Adios.